Recording in progress.
Keith, thank you for co-hosting. We will have to remove the Donna screen though. Welcome everyone. As usual, we'll wait for a few moments to welcome the drifters. Try to be as gracious as possible, but also welcome the judgmental mind if it shows up. Why can't they show up on time? Hopefully you can laugh at yourself as you pick another fight. A few more and we'll start. While we're waiting, I'm curious if you can hear the sound of the gong. Okay. Thank you. I will do a little adjustment. No, I have it correct. How about now? I think I'll have to just chant. Anyway, welcome everyone. Missed being here last week, and I realize some of you haven't been here for a while, so welcome back. And as always, it's a treat to have a sense of being together, even though we're online. And I found that the best way to feel that is to say hello to each other, hear each other's voices, perhaps say where you're calling in from. And once we say hello and just warm up the atmosphere a little bit, we'll do what we came here for, other than connect. And that's to practice together. So feel free to unmute and say good evening.
Big love, Nashville.
Hey, Jerry.
Burlingame.
Hey, David.
Hi from Victoria.
Hi, Susan. Welcome.
Howard, number 14 from Roberts Creek.
Hello, Howard. Very happy about your MRI results.
You're next.
Correct.
Katie, San Francisco.
Katie, welcome as always.
Dan from Richmond, California.
Hi, Dan. I can't see you, but I can hear you. Hi, Laura.
Hi.
Welcome from Berkeley.
Hey, Margot. Really happy that you're here.
Thank you.
Michael from Edmonton.
Hi, Michael. I'm there 1 month from today.
Yes.
1 month from Friday, I should say.
Pat from Regina.
Hi, Pat.
Mary from Santa Barbara.
Hi, Mary. Glad you are with us.
Keith from
Helen
Berkeley.
from Oakland.
Keith and Helen were simultaneous. Glad to see both. Hey, Noemi.
Noemi, the midship.
Yay. Got someone from the mission. Anyway, very, very happy to hear your voices, see your faces. You might want to peruse the screen. And again, this is more fun when more people have their camera on. And then it feels like we're in a meditation hall together. Okay, of course, it's optional. So I imagine, like you or like myself, there's a lot going on in your life. I, for once, have been very immersed in the news cycle. Also had a visit with my 99-year-old mother, which was quite poignant and intense in a way, but lovely. And just many, many, many things that happening in all of our lives, and both internally and externally. And so we have this opportunity to step out of our situation, the story, the narrative of our life, what's going on, so to speak, even though that's a beautiful thing to share and exchange. But at least for the meditation time, we step out of our story into just immediate and direct experience of life, right where it touches us. And we commit ourselves for this time, and hopefully this extends beyond just the formal practice. We commit ourselves to not missing our lives, to present time awareness, the only place that we can actually experience our life. So in a way, we're committing ourselves also to let go of the imagined past other than noticing it as memory, and letting go of the imagined future and just acknowledging it as a dream. And then just settling back into the moment that we find ourselves in, and letting this challenging body that we, this precious life, this incarnation, let this body call us here, even if it's unpleasant sensations that call us here and unpleasant associations. We use the body's experience of itself as our anchor for our attention, because the body is always present. And in some ways, because our mind tends to be so outer focused, it's helpful initially to let our eyes close softly and experience our body from the inside. What we call the inside, even though there really is no inside or outside. There's just eyes open, eyes closed. But we call it inside. And from that experience of the inside, we feel certain contact points where our rear touches the cushion or chair. We feel a kind of weight or heaviness or hardness, pressure. The heaviness and hardness is our experience of the earth element expressing itself in our body. We feel a sense of maybe tingling, vibrating, the air element. We feel the sense of temperature, cool or warmth, that's a fire. So we come back to our nature, just the direct experience. Feel a sense of solidity or cohesion that depends on the water element. It all breaks apart when the water dries up. And we feel the air element just as it expresses itself in our life breath. And the longer we keep our attention in this inner landscape, bodyscape, our attention here in a more sustained way, our body begins to settle and still, and it becomes more effortless, more obvious, our experience of our body breathing. And we just let that experience of breathing, let the waves of the breath calm our minds. This is what will happen naturally. You don't have to try to calm down. You just keep your attention on the feeling of your body breathing, filling up and letting go as much as possible, not directing this or controlling it, just letting the body breathe and be known in awareness. Remember that awareness is unmoving. It's just here. And with each breath, we know the body is breathing. We know only this breath. We know only this moment. And we sense that ever available capacity to just be aware. And we sense that our awareness has a openness, a sky-like nature. It has a receptivity. It has a softness. It has an alertness. And so with softness and alertness, we know the breath as the breath. Just this breath. We commit to keeping our attention in our body, and our body within the field of our attention. Very gentle. Also commit to being welcoming of other experiences that become stronger than the breath. Other sensations, sounds, whatever mood, whatever state of mind, state of heart that you may be experiencing. We feel them through the body. And we notice and receive graciously the thinking mind, all included in that field of awareness. A thought is to our mind as a sound is to the ear, smell is to the nose, taste is to the tongue, sensation is to the body. It's just a sense experience, and we welcome them all. Even if it's a storm, we simply notice, this is what a storm is like. This is thinking. This is feeling. This is breathing. Just this moment, whatever shows up. Returning again and again to the simple experience of body and breath. When you realize you've been pulled into a thought bubble, a thought world, this is actually a sign that you've popped out, that mindfulness has rearisen. Appreciate that moment of waking up to where you are. And in support of this gentle intention to stay embodied and have continuity of attention, we come back to the simple experience of sitting and breathing, knowing the body is breathing in and knowing the body's breathing out, and enjoying both the fact that you are aware and enjoying the body's experience of its own breath. Just this moment, just this breath. If your mind is sinking into dullness, just notice this. This is the next object of attention. This dullness is like this. And once you've experienced this, sometimes it lifts, but sometimes you have to mindfully refresh yourself. Your posture, and begin again. Same if you're straining or struggling. Just treat this as an object of attention. Oh, this is strain, this is struggle, and notice what happens to it. If necessary, feel free to refresh yourself and begin again. Every moment is fresh, new. Can always begin again. Destination is here. As we come to the end of the sitting, we'll chant a daily reminder of the nature of things. It's chanted at monasteries every day. In English, it goes, all things that have the nature to arise have the nature to pass away. To be in harmony with this truth brings cessation, brings happiness, brings relief. I'll sing it in Pali and end the sitting. Anicca vada sankara upadua yadamino upakitua niruchanti te sang vupasamo sukho. Anicca vada sankara upadua yadamino upakitua niruchanti te sang vupasamo sukho. Anicca vada sankara upadua yadamino upakitua niruchanti te sang vupasamo sukho. So as the sitting fades, we're reminded of the fading of everything that arises. And sitting in the middle of it all, we find harmony with things just the way they are. Rising, fading, rising, fading. We cling to nothing. We let go. As we let go of the sitting, we very mindfully open our eyes, notice the arising of outer sight. Mindfully notice the beginning of other physical movements. And so our practice continues continuously. Let's see if my machine has caught on. Anyway, really nice to sit with you. Hey, Mary, glad to see you with us. Any brief input on how we might be able to get the sound working? I wasn't able to capture it last week when somebody put it in the chat, but anybody want to maybe unmute and tell me how to make it so you can hear the gong?
So, Howie, you could try, just a minute, sorry. You could try going to audio.
Now I can't hear you.
Audio settings, and then on the bottom right, it says live performance audio.
Yes.
Is that clicked?
No, it was
Okay.
not.
So click that and try it again.
No.
No.
Let's see. Okay, back to the drawing board. Anyway, really nice to be with you. You notice how quickly we moved on. This is from the sitting to technical issues. This is anicca. This is impermanence. This is the fact that things arise and pass away. And notice, are we in harmony with that? Or do we feel a little reactivity in our hearts? You might just take note to your own state of mind. As always, I am curious what you notice during the sitting. and any questions that may have arisen from your experience, from the instructions, anything that was said, any topics that emerged, and just open it to anyone who may have comment, question, topic. You can feel free to either unmute or put your raised hand function, and we'll continue. Okay, this is a first. Please, Pat, feel free.
Just a comment. Well, there's an echo. I don't know what it was. Yeah, that
I was catching every other word.
yeah. Okay, let me see. Okay. There's a no. Okay.
You can try again. We'll just.
Okay. I was just going to say the comment. And someone said, I don't think it's just Pat. There's some kind of audio.
Okay. Yeah, I think there's something going on with Zoom, maybe.
Howie, could you try muting yourself while she's speaking?
I could. Are you getting an echo?
Not in you. Oh, that's it better. Yeah. Can you hear me though? Okay. No, what was I going to say? Yeah, in terms of, I really liked the instruction in the beginning of the meditation. It sounds so simple, but it felt really very meaningful to me, of just allowing the breath, the rhythm of the breath, to calm my mind, to calm our minds. I really liked that because it also was a really beautiful reminder to me, of how loving awareness is so integrally connected even to our bodies and in our bodies, as well as bigger than our bodies, So just allowing the rhythm of my breath, which comes from bringing in and releasing, to calm my mind. I found that a very simple but beautiful instruction. So I just wanted to mention that.
Thank you, Pat. Yeah, it dawned on me. I'll tell you where that came from, if it's of interest. I just, in working with meditators and for a while, there was a way that the breath became kind of rote, became just something to hold on to. It felt like it was something to try to suppress the waves of the mind. And it didn't really acknowledge that this is an experience of nature, and that we don't actually, and this is maybe the bigger issue, is we don't actually calm our mind. We don't calm our body either. We pay attention to it, and we experience it, and if we can, we enjoy it. And the byproduct of that is our body calms and stills, and our mind calms. And it's just because we have entered into a non-contentious relationship with the reality of our sitting body, and our mind and body have come together, which that just has a byproduct of harmony. So glad you picked up on it, and may it continue. Anyone else? Please feel free. Mary, reliable Mary. Please feel free. I will mute as you begin to speak.
Okay. I just want to say it really
felt very good to be here tonight. I think for like the last 6 months, I've been very, you know, involved and concerned about the outer world, and it's been very intense. And I've used up a lot of my time being involved with everything going on and protesting and stuff. And this week, I think I had suddenly felt, oh, people are really waking up and they're really getting strong and reacting really, strongly. And all of a sudden, I felt like, when you're like kind of doing something in an emergency or something, and then afterwards you just kind of collapse. All of a sudden, I felt like the last couple of days just exhausted, like I just totally had to take care of myself. And today before here, I was at the beach and then the farmer's market, and then I came here, and this meditation felt so good to me. I can't tell you. It just felt so calming, and I'm just very, very grateful. No, it was just lovely. And I really needed it. I'm self-healing now. I'm taking care of myself.
Thank you, Mary. I think now you have to mute.
Oh,
That's okay.
well, first I have to say thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for modeling, striking some kind of balance between activity and action, engagement, and the wisdom and the love that is necessary to take care of ourselves. And I always think of Rabbi Hillel. He says, if we are not for ourselves, who will be? If we are only for ourselves, who are we, or what are we? But if we're not for ourselves, who will be? We have to look after ourselves. So, and that's, to me, the wisdom of the Dharma tells us when that's needed, and if we feel a collapse. But it also shows us when we do start to feel tired, and this happens to many people. When you do start to feel tired, there's often a little voice that says, well, you shouldn't be tired. You had enough sleep, or there's usually some commentary that says, with some little judgment about it. And the beauty of practices also is we can just notice that, oh, look at my mind's notions of how I should be. This is just views and opinions, and can learn to listen. Anyone else, please? Okay.
I don't have you on the screen anymore, Howie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I have this lovely, beautiful blonde lady who spoke before me.
Okay. Can you see me now? Have I popped up again?
No.
I can see myself on the screen. Am I a little box at least?
Yes. I have you on a little box. Maybe if I tap on that. No.
How about now?
But if I go to speaker view, I come back to this pretty blonde lady. I'll just go on the
Go on gallery.
gallery. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
back
just
to
do that.
gallery.
Okay, all right.
Any last questions, topics, comments? And I will fill up the space. Hopefully not too much. Hmm. Well, needless to say, every week, functioning in this role of leading the Sangha, and maybe Mary felt this last week. Thank you, Mary, for leading the Sangha last week. In functioning in this role, the natural question that arises is, what would be useful? How can I be useful? And like you, as I mentioned to those who dropped in earlier, I've been dealing with like Mary, the issues of the world have been incredibly compelling and repelling and engaging, and dealing with my visiting my 99-year-old mother, who seems to be in a new phase. And so the combination of the great blessing of having a 99-year-old mother, but also watching someone slowly lose their lust for life and their faculties, or macular degeneration, hearing. So all of the realities flood to the surface of things that I've been dealing with, and many moments of joy and ease and all that. But still, I know that we all live lives where our senses are being impinged by so much contact with, not necessarily with people, because some people are isolated, but with information, or with our own mind. And that can be, in a way, exhausting. And, every day in the news, there's just the destruction of, human beings, the killing, the marginalizing, just the destruction of the rule of law, of our Constitution, of systems that we've taken for granted. It affects us emotionally. I think I can speak generally. I don't think anybody is immune to that. So how do we what's really useful in the face of all of that, of what we deal with? And first and foremost, where it comes to Buddha Dharma, is the reminder of this is the first noble truth. This is dukkha. This is things that are hard to be with. And what was the Buddha's teaching in the Four Noble Truths? There are many things that are hard to be with. Life has within it things that are difficult to bear. And the prescription is to open to it, to acknowledge it, to feel our heartbreak, to feel our heart ache, to feel our fury, to feel our helplessness, to feel all the psychological impacts of this world that we live in. And then know for ourselves, second noble truth, know what is actually, we can see systemically and also in our own mind, what is causing this world to be the way it is? What is causing me to feel the way that I feel? And the cause is the three poisons: is craving, clinging, poisons of greed, poisons of hatred, the poisons of delusion. Delusion has to do with false narratives, conspiracy theories, notions, views, and opinions that aren't necessarily true. Hatred is that tendency to, in all of our minds, to other, to look at who's outside of our realm of acceptability, and our circle of affection, and how systemically how that plays out in so much cruelty, and in our own minds how we can easily fall into so much frustration and hatred of the people who seem to be destroying things that are in harmony with the Dharma. But in any case, that force in our mind, greed that in the world we see that greed is expressing itself as the desire for power, for control. And then in our own mind is desire for relief, how easily we can fall into a postponement of relief, caught in the desire for it to all end, just like we did with COVID. I thought it couldn't get worse than that time of COVID, where every week it felt like we have to keep reminding ourselves that we can't wait till it's over, until the next administration. And I mean, in this case, and then it was when COVID was on. Now we're waiting for the tide to change. Of course, we're going to work like hell, but we can't postpone our relief for that time. So that's greed for power, greed for wanting it to be over, wanting things to be different. What was the Buddha's prescription for dealing with that? This must be abandoned. We have to learn how to let go. Let go in each moment. Let be. Experience things as is. Find right in the middle of it all, which people described tonight when you sat. The world hasn't changed much since we started this evening, but perhaps your mind has gotten a little relief because you stopped. And there was maybe a little gap between your last reaction and before the next one. And as you entered into body awareness, as you were pulled into the sense of community, maybe just knowing we're all together here. You're just not just drifting along in your own internal world. You're actually here together now. And something in us lets go. So with each one of these, the first one, this is dukkha, this must be open to. The third part of that first noble truth is this has been open to. I've actually opened to the dukkha. And where you feel a certain gladness and confidence that you've let it in, you've let your heart break. And when you come to the second, the prescription for not only having followed the prescription of abandoning the cause of suffering, you can say, this has been abandoned. I let go of the greed in the mind. Let go of the hatred in the mind. Let go of the delusion in the mind. I entered into the simple, bare reality. And I found that right in the middle of it all, there is peace. I don't know if Mary, I think you did a thing on gratitude last week. I don't know if you read the piece from, I know you did your own thing. I'm sure it was a beautiful talk, but I often, whenever I talk about gratitude, I talk about the gratitude of letting go expressed by Thoreau, where he said, I'm grateful for what I am and what I have. My thanksgiving is perpetual. He says, it's surprising how contented one can be with nothing definite, just a sense of existence. That's what we come into when we let go, just a sense of existence. And then he says, no run on my bank can drain it. For my wealth isn't possession, but it's enjoyment of being. Just that. And stopping, practicing allows us to say, yes, this has been done. There has been letting go. Then the third noble truth that he came to me, what's always useful to remember, is that there is an end. It's implied by the second in a way. If you feel like this has been abandoned, it naturally leads to the third. There is an end. There is a cessation to the forces of greed and hatred and delusion in the mind. And maybe not a permanent cessation, but there is an end and we feel it. And of course, the prescription is this must be realized. And then one can say, if you've actually practiced this letting go and the abandonment of the cause of suffering, the heart's release, for at least for the moment, you can say, this has been realized. There has been a cessation of greed and hatred and ignorance in my mind for this moment. It's like a mini tour through the Four Noble Truths. It may not be the full eradication of greed and hatred and ignorance in your mind, but it's any moment that we just let go a little bit, we get a little peace. And if we let go a little more of greed and aversion and delusion, we get a lot of peace. And as the famous Ajahn Chah statement, he says, if you let go completely, you'll have complete peace and freedom. Your struggles with the world will come to an end. Wow, my computer is freaking out tonight. All of a sudden, a page moved right onto the screen. I don't know what that is. Anyway, then the last, what I think is a useful reminder, is the fourth truth, is that there is a path. That there's a path toward letting go, toward harmony, toward freedom of the heart, toward this heart's release. And the prescription is this must be cultivated. And the path being the Noble Eightfold Path. And very important right now is especially the parts about wise or right speech, because the way that we speak to ourselves, the way that we speak to others, either relieves us of the causes of stress, or it affirms and reinforces the causes of stress. So speech that is harmonious brings harmony. Speech that is hateful, judgmental, cruel, harsh, it's like flexing a muscle. That muscle gets stronger. That becomes our mind stream. So wise speech that leads toward relief, toward harmony, is true, speaking truth, saying what's useful, saying what's timely, saying what's harmonious, saying what's beneficial. And that's something we can do every day. And just even taking 1 week, a week at a time, to just look at our internal dialogue, to shift from being just acting it out, the hell with this, that, whatever it is that our mind does, either internally or toward others, we just pay attention to it. Oh, this is what harsh speech is. This is what judgmental speech is. To be able to just say, to use it as a mindfulness object. And this must be that prescription. This much must be cultivated. And then I don't want to give a whole talk on the Noble Eightfold Path, but this is a path that includes wise action, livelihood that is non-harming, wise speech, wise intention, wise view. The whole thing is basically 3 parts of purifying our actions, purifying our mind, developing our mind, and developing our understanding, having understanding of these four truths. And hopefully that inspires us to practice. So that's the truths are inspiring us to practice, and then the practice inspires us to, or helps us to understand the teachings. And so it's like a circle. And the prescription is this must be cultivated, and then one has to be able to say, this has been cultivated. I've actually been doing the work, moment by moment. But having said all of that, and hopefully that it sparks something, a reminder that we can all orient toward more freedom. We can all, as an act of resistance, have peace and not let ourselves just become part of the snowballing force of ill will in our world. That we can actually be a counterpoint and a refuge for the people around us. And that we are so trainable. That is just such a reminder. And that we really just have to do the work. But beyond all that, what I think is also most useful is what happens at the first part of our time together, is we stop. And the reminder, the implicit reminder, is the point of our practice. And I think Mary, I'm not sure if it was in this week, the point of our practice is always arrived at the present moment. To me, the most pithy, the most direct teaching that I got when I visited my Indian teacher, Punjaji, who I went to visit many times, but the most wonderful teaching he offered was when someone asked him to say something to all of the people back in the West who would like to hear his teachings, wouldn't be able to come to India to see him. Of course, he's long past at this point, but he looked into the camera and got a little grin on his face, and his teaching was, stay where you are. And he didn't mean stay home in Canada or the US or wherever you may be calling in from. He meant stay exactly where you are. Don't miss your life. That your life is really in real time where you actually are. It's utterly simple. It is just an unfolding of 5 sense experiences, 6 sense experiences. There is seeing, there is hearing, there is smelling, there is tasting, there is touching, there is thinking, and that's all. And all of our notions of a complex life is not really about our life, it's about our mind. And even our complex mind is a simple unfolding present moment experience. And it's only because we become hypnotized by our complex mind instead of relating to it as something to be known, because we become hypnotized to it, it becomes the narrative through which we see that, oh, things are so complicated. But really, this is a moment of seeing the world in our mind as complicated. So to me, the most useful thing that we can be reminded of each week, each moment, is to stay where we are. And know a few different things. And this will determine to some degree how much you will suffer and how much ease you'll have in your life, how beneficial you can be, or how much a burden you are, mostly to yourself. Is to ask basically 3 questions. I stole this from the Burmese master U Tejaniya. It says, are you aware? You can try it right now. Or is there awareness? What are you aware of? That was the second question. The third, what is the quality or the state of the mind that is noticing right now? And what that means is there greed in my mind right now? Am I straining, wanting something to be different? It's just greed in the mind. If this goes unnoticed, we wander a long time in a state of suspended happiness. What's the state of the mind? So the third part, the 3 parts of that, is there aversion in the mind? It's one of the poisons in the mind right now. And this, it's not to be gotten rid of, it's just it's abandoning the clinging to it. It's abandoning the identification with it. It's noticing, oh, this is aversion in the mind. And then the third part is there delusion in the mind? Am I caught in a view right now of myself or the world? And that's all. And those 3 questions, am I aware? What am I aware of? What's the state of the mind that's knowing? Or is there one of the poisons in the mind? That is 100% portable. Wherever you go, there you are. So reflecting on the teachings of the Four Noble Truths hopefully inspires you to practice. Practicing the Eightfold Path inspires you to know it. And the way it's all fulfilled is by this simple attention to each unfolding moment. And from time to time, when you can remember to, especially if you're stressing a little bit, say, is there awareness right now? What am I aware of? And then check out to see which poison is in the mind. And I say poison, not as a value judgment. These 3 forces, what the Buddha called the 3 forces that cause us stress, they're called in the teachings the 3 poisons, because they poison our confidence that we can find peace in any moment. So may we all open to dukkha. May we abandon the cause of dukkha. May we realize the cessation of dukkha, of stress, of suffering, and may we cultivate the path. And may our practice today and every day be dedicated to this suffering world and everyone in it, all beings in all circumstances, including those who are causing suffering, knowing that the seed cause of this world as it is what in Pali is avidya, it's ignorance, confusion, it's delusion, it's believing things that aren't necessarily true. So may we all see things as they are, and may our practice be of benefit to all. So I wish I could ring the gong, but I will pass on to Keith. Do you have any short announcements? And if you don't, I can share what I know.
All right. Just a minute here.
Stick around for a few moments, everyone, if you don't mind.
So, as I posted in the chat, just a reminder that this whole Sangha, this gathering, runs on the concept of dana. So the teachings are offered freely. The The space for us to gather is offered freely, and there is a joy in that offering, and that in a similar way, anything that we pull from this, anything that lands, a way to give back is to help this continue. And so that can be through volunteering. Feel free to reach out to myself or to Mary to ask about that. Or it can be through financial means. It supports Howie and the other teachers who come and offer these things freely. It allows their lives to go on as well. So just a encouragement. There is details in the chat, but just sort of connect to that sort of gratitude that comes up, and there's a way to express that if you wish. The other thing I was just going to note briefly is there are two. Do you want to speak to the?
I think I'll do that, and so you might have to mute. But thank you, Keith, and thank you for co-hosting. Just a reminder that on the 24th of this month, I will be leading an in-person. I don't think it's a hybrid. I think it's an in-person day at Spirit Rock, but just confirm that by going to spiritrock.org. And I think maybe it's even on our website, the link to that day long at Spirit Rock. And then the few days later, I have the Labor Day retreat at Spirit Rock, which I think has a long waiting list, but there may be spaces for commuters. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. And then for those who are in Edmonton, I'll be there on the weekend of September 5th. And then in Houston, if you're in the Houston area, I'll be there at the 25th of September. So in the meantime, thank you for your dana. Thank you for your presence here, and keep up your practice. Stay where you are, and feel free to unmute and say good night. Good night.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Howie. Thank you, Howie. Good night, everyone.
Good night,
Thank you.
everybody.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. Wonderful to be together.
Good night.